Good morning, potato chips. How you doing? It's wee Paddy from across the shock, and this is another one of the type of videos that I want to change to. I want to make it a bit. I just want my channel to become a bit looser, a bit more, less number orientated, less facts. I mean, we've all got the internet. If you want to see all the specs and you want to see all that in a knife you're genuinely going to buy, I would never have taken it just on the word of a reviewer. I always would have went to the shop that sold them and had a look at all the specs and see if that's what I want. So yes, it is nice to have them sometimes. And if it's a brand new knife, yes, I'm going to do it. But this is the other part that in this year is going to change for me. Look, I'm not skint. I can afford knives, but I'm buying knives that I like more than I'm buying knives for the channel. Now, I know that's going to sound selfish because you guys got me here, but I can't keep up with these fads. I just think, as much as I agree that anybody can buy Chinese, anybody can buy any flavor of knife they want, that is my mantra. I believe you can buy what you want, where you want from here. I just don't want to. The Chinese now have got it to such a state that every week there's about 6, 7 new knives that you must have. Or do you? In my case, I don't. I don't have to have. I don't have to buy them, flog them on, lose money, or even make money, whatever that, I know people do that and they can get them sent. And I've had that where people are sending me knives. I don't really do it much anymore. Don't know why, just can't explain it. But because I want to buy what I want to buy now, and I've got plenty of knives here. And what I'd rather do is have a conversation like this is going to be. This is three knives, three different prices. What's the difference, and why would I increase from the budget to these knives are going to range between $10 and $150. It's maybe, I don't know how often I'll do it. I might do it once a week, once a fortnight. I'll see how it goes. So let's just get into it rather than me talk and talk and talk. I'm starting off with one of my favorite Ganzos of all time, and this is one of the older models in 440C. It's a Ganzo 753M. It's a small version. There is a larger version. Now, when I say small, it's still got a 3-inch blade and a 4-inch handle. So for me, this is a perfect EDC. I get all four fingers, plenty of room on there, super grip, super comfortable jimping that actually works, and a blade shape to die for. It is just beautiful. Handle shape, it's got an axis lock, which is as good, now as any Benchmade that I've ever had. In fact, I would even say better than quite a few of them. Look at that. I mean, it's as smooth as you like. So I love it. This now is in the, say, $15 range, or £15, $20, $15, $20. Off AliExpress, you're getting it for around $15. And ones like this isn't to be, I'm not pushing this knife, but I'm pushing knives that are about 15 to £20, and that equivalent in dollars. This is a great knife with 440C, which was a super steel at one time. Do you know what I mean? It's a cutlery knife. It's stainless. It sharpens easily. It takes a really keen edge. Um, Edge retention is fine. It would do me a day, not a problem, unless I had to do anything extra. So, who's going to want a knife like this? To me, this is somebody that's starting to enjoy carrying a knife. They're just getting into not even the hobby. They're just looking about for a knife that's good value. Ganzo 440C is great value. It's good steel. It just works. Uh, it doesn't hold an edge for days and days, unless you're doing very, very light cutting, and then it will. But do you know what I mean? If you're doing a few boxes a day, a few bits of cutting straps or things like that, whatever around your house, cutting a bit of carpet into a corner, it'll need sharpened at the end of the day, or at least stropped. It comes back with stropping really well. And again, strop before you cut. If you can bring it back with a strop, less metal coming off, less use of the blade. The knife stays for longer. You have a better edge. You're not having to reprofile all the time when you sharpen a knife. So this is it for just a beginner? No, because I still buy these for me as beater knives. It's just a simple beater knife. And I keep buying them because I like different sorts of knives. And that's what being a knife person is. It's liking different sorts of knives. But that doesn't mean different expensive knives. It just means knives to me. I get great pleasure out of just having the knives about, and the more the merrier. And that's what the hobby is. But this is a knife would do anybody. Um, for a light work knife, for an EDC knife, or for one to throw in a kitchen drawer. And at $15 to $20, 15 to £20, it doesn't come much better than it. It's just really good. I have never broken the Axis lock spring on a Ganzo. Never. I haven't even heard of one being broken. So there we go. They use a thicker stock. It takes a bit longer to work them in, but once you get them worked in, they've just lasted me for years and years. This probably 3-year-old, maybe even longer than that. It was a brilliant knife when I used it regular. It's still a brilliant knife. It's still got a good edge on it. And I left it like that. Well, it's not a great edge, but it's all right. And it still cuts. Do you know what I mean? If I pull this out, I can take it out and work for the day. Absolutely fine. So there's the budget knife. So why do I have to, if I've got this knife and it works all right, I hear you say, Paddy, why do I want another one? Well, because we're humans. And that is the answer, because you either hear what other people are saying about knives, or you want something that's going to last you a bit longer on the edge. You've decided you've got this. It's maybe not lasting you a whole day without having to be resharpened. So you want a better steel. You wouldn't mind the changing of the blade material. And this is where you get this is the excitement of knife collecting, but it's also that excitement when you realize just how useful a knife is if you haven't done it before. This was your first knife, or you want to start out in this mad world of YouTube reviewing. And please don't think you're going to make money off it. You're not, unless you're a super channel that can, buy and sell hundreds of knives a year. You're not going to make money. You'll make enough. Like after 4 years, I make enough to buy £100 knife a month. That's it. That's it. But that's not counting the money I have spent on my own money because I love this hobby. So don't commit thinking you're all of a sudden going to be rich and have lots of knives. That's not the case. So you upgrade, like we all do. We all started somewhere and then we all upgrade because we want something better. This is a steel Will Danner. I don't know why this wasn't more popular, because for me, this was an amazing knife. And in use, and this cover that they have, and this dark, tumbled, stone-washed coating is amazing. It's got a G10 handle. It has an incredibly comfortable, the jimping here is just so useful. There's a forward choil if you want to sneak it. It's got everything in a knife. A lovely drop point blade shape. It's got swedges on it. It's got hollow ground if you want to get your hand up further. It really makes cutting a joy. It's got D2 steel. And with that coating, you're not worried too much about it rusting. If you keep stropping it, the edge won't rust, and that's the only place that's open. But it's like all D2, you maybe just have to watch it depending on where you live and what the dampness is and where you live. It's got a pocket clip. It's not deep carry, but it's good enough. It's a beautiful knife. Again, this is just over 7 inches. Not much. But what a beautiful knife. So this is, I believe it was about the 50 or 60 mark. This was the 20 mark. So 50 or 60 gets you a knife that, in my opinion, is just first class. Look at that rocket knife. It's just first class. And it's a show-off knife. Don't forget, most of our friends don't have fancy knives. They have a buck. They have a Swiss Army knife. They're not. So something like this to them is really good. And this is how you promote it. is having knives that are good in your pocket. When somebody says, "Lend me your knife," you can bring out a knife like this and they go, "Wow, that's a knife. I want one of them." And that's how we get people into this hobby. That's how we get people buying knives, using knives, and making them a more friendly prospect to the world out there who think they're all murder weapons. This is a tool. This is a tool. It's not built for murder. It's built to work and cut things. That's it. That's it. A sharp, pokey stick will kill somebody. You don't have to spend 50 or 60 pound on a knife to kill somebody. If you want to poke somebody, sharpen the end of a stick, stick it in them. You can carry it everywhere with you. It's legal. Gosh, I get ranty again. I done this yesterday. I'll go off on a rant. But look, this is lovely. It's thin behind the edge, so it's a great slicer. It's thin blade stock for the size of the knife it is. It's just over, I would say, about 3¼ inch blade. It weighs somewhere around 3 ounces. It's good. It's good in hand. The G10 is grippy, but it's not over grippy. It's incredibly comfortable. You could work all day with that. D2 is a great steel. Holds an edge for a really good length of time, and it's a joy to have in your collection. So, I mean, they're both the same sort of size. And then you've had that, and you're taking it to work, and it's still not lasting the whole day. After a while, you want a bit longer, because now you've found you're using a knife, you find more uses to use that knife, and you maybe want to increase the blade steel. You're not worried how fancy it is because you're using it to work. So you don't need fancy G10, or you don't need carbon fibre. You just want a work knife. You want a knife that you can take and beat and not worry about it. Here you go. A Spyderco, your first Spyderco, that are quite expensive, but you get normally a really good deal. This is the UK PK. Now, these knives are not just for those of us in the UK. This knife has got S110V blade steel, which lasts for a long time. And it's not that hard to sharpen, it just takes a bit longer. This is an amazing price for S110V. There isn't many other knives out there with that come in at about £110, $110. It has a forward choil, so this knife can't close on you. Complete safety, but you get an S110V. It is incredibly comfortable. It's skinny, but Spyderco, who at first I didn't particularly like, but to be honest with you, they just make a bloomin' good knife. And this will last you as a real good work knife. So there's 3 steps when we come in or we come around knives, and you don't have to go. I mean, there was the most expensive one's 110, but that's giving you a steel that's a super steel. It is a super steel. Amazing. For that price, it's a steal. You've got D2 in the middle here, and then you have 440C. You have different looks. These two are probably a bit better looking. This you've got just as your work knife. But where do you go from here? Here's where you go from here. You're going on then to knives that are going to cost a bit more. A bug out, this is about £130 or £140 over here, maybe even more. But you can go up and you can get, this is just another work knife basically with a S35VN. I'm trying to get a knife out. Here's a good example of going up again. Here's one of the most famous knives on YouTube, another Spyderco, the Para 2. Great big work knife. I have aluminium skeins on mine, which makes it a very comfortable knife. It's got a creep up choil. It's a big work blade. It looks good now. With the aluminium skeins, it gives it a bit of fanciness. It's got a great locking mechanism. It's fidget friendly. It's got, different ways to deploy the knife. It just makes for a beautiful knife. So you can go up in value all the time. Whatever you want, you can go up in stages of like 30 or 40 pound until you go into silly money. And there's plenty of knives at silly money out there. And if you've got it, they'll take it. But what I want you to do is, if you just come around, you don't have to go directly up to that high market. Find your subscribers or find your level of knife use that you actually want, and then take it progressively from there. If you find this knife isn't good enough for you, you move on to the next. Don't go from here to here necessarily, unless if you can afford to, and it's not a problem. But a lot of us, like me, when I came around, I was on a budget. I couldn't go from there to there. So I gradually moved up. And with gifts and things like that I got, I gradually moved up until I could see there is a difference in knives. But that difference only goes up to about £200, £250 before the money you're shelling out is not giving you any more than what you can buy at £250. I mean, a £400 knife isn't going to give you better blade steel, isn't going to give you better materials than a knife you can buy at £250 if you shop around. Very rarely. But you can go into privately made, custom they call them, knives that are wild prices, can go into the thousands. And you're getting somebody who's hand making a knife to your specific needs, wants, and yearns. So take your time when you come in. I really want this to be a little chat each week about 3 different knives in 3 different price ranges and what I think about them, what I think the pros and the cons. But to be honest with you, there's no cons here, and that's what I want to put across. This is only 440C, but it will do me a day. This is D2, it will definitely do me a day. This is S110V. This will do me 3 or 4 days. That's the difference in a progression. Do you know what I mean? This might last me a couple of days. This might last me the whole week, depending on how hard my work is. So you have a choice, and you can explore that choice, share it with people. Yes, try and find budget knives that are great value, and there's loads of them. But you don't have to buy 10 knives that are basically the same as this, exactly the same looking, or a funny looking blade and a funny looking handle, but they're all basically the same. You know, they all come in with the same blade steel. Look around, shop around, try and get your collection and build it with difference. I have every steel that I can think of under the sun in there. And it's great to get to know and learn how to sharpen. It's great to get to know the steels and what you actually need for everyday use. I can basically get through a day on, I'm trying to get one of my cheaper models. Oh no, I haven't got any. Oh yes, I have. There we go. I can get through a day on, oh Stephen, where is it? What a plonker. I'm in the wrong drawer. I'm in the wrong drawer. I can get through a day on a 420 blade. A 420 blade. This is a Rough Rider. I can get through a day on this. I carry a little pen sharpener in case it goes a wee bit blunt. I can just swipe it up on the way. But that does me most days. Not every day, but most days. And if I carry that wee pen sharpener, it'll do me every day. So I don't need the higher blades. Do I like them? Yes, of course I do. And that's the whole point of collecting. That's find where you're comfortable and then base your collecting around that. And if you want to buy, like myself, an odd good one every now and then, that's the best way that I found to do it for me, because I can't afford to keep up with every model that comes out, that every new steel that comes out. They're all the best steel, but they all just cut things for a different amount of time, and you need to find out what that time scale is that's going to suit you and your use. If I know I'm going to go out and work hard and cut things up, I'll take this. If I'm not sure, it could go either way, I'll take this. If I'm just going to have a light day, I'll take this. So you know what knife you're going to lift out of your collection and use for any given day. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was of some sort of information. Please ask questions down below if there's anything that I didn't cover or you don't understand or you'd like me to go into about knives. And each week we'll have a little discussion like this and see where it goes from here. It's just something different. Plus the fact it gives me a chance to let you see some of the knives that I have. Each week I'm going to have 3 different knives. So each week we're going to have 3 different topics that you can join in and discuss with me. All right, I'm away. It's cup of tea time and it's looking a bit draggy down there. All the very best. Thanks for listening to my old waffle. You're amazing people. Thank you very much for the support. Take care now. Paddy's gone. Bye.